Hello, hope you're doing well, folks. It's been a while. Let's go. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while, folks. Can you hear me well? Is it okay? I'm on my traveling setup right now, so no webcam, no kitty cam, etc. Unfortunately. Okay, perfect. I'm sorry, my voice is a bit broken. I'm a bit sick at the moment, but it should be good to do the public portfolio reviews. So you folks submitted a lot of portfolios. So there's the need to make a little choice. There are some of them that I already reviewed either privately or at Concept 101. For example, Elena, I remember I reviewed your work at Concept 101. And yeah, I had to sort out through the portfolios and pick what is the most interesting in terms of education. So if you have not been picked, I apologize, folks. I cannot review like a 2 dozens of portfolios in 2 hours, and some stuff might be redundant. So I hope that you will be able to extract the knowledge from the other reviews. So let's get started. As always, you notice the little question on top right there. Let me showcase them properly for a second. Can you offer a lot of drastically different choices to the client and art director, which means give a lot of proposals of design? 2, can you help the 3D team do their job without them guessing? I've explained that a million times. So turnaround, call out sheets, breakdown, props, etc. And 3, is your work aligned with the studios you are aiming at? So I'm going to be not focusing only on those 3 questions. I think people start to get it eventually. A lot of you have been watching the Artness content for a long time, so it should be okay. I want to mostly focus on other things that are a bit more specific to each person. So let's get started. I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 portfolios. It should be more than enough. Some of them will be longer than others. But yeah, I wanted to highlight some specific points for each of them and for specific profiles. So let's go. Normally it's in the order that they have been submitted. So the first one is by Josin. Let me read what the person wrote. I'm a 3D concept/art surface artist with a strong technical background, blending design, modeling, and procedural workflows. I'm aiming at studios and projects with worlds like Fallout, Doom, Quake, and Unreal. Style universe where mechanical, sci-fi, and atmospheric meet design. While I have a heavy technical and rendering background, I'd like to focus more on conceptual mechanics, organics, and overall world design. Link to portfolio. So the first thing regarding world design, I want to talk a bit about world building immediately. At least for a portfolio, nobody gives a shit about world building. At least for the portfolio, some studios, they are specialists into that. Things like Terraform, etc. Yeah, they are doing the big scale of things. They're doing the quote-unquote world building part with rules and such. But most people, when they are using world building, it tends to be a bit pedantic. It goes way beyond just making a civilization and things like that. And it's not really the job of concept art. You're going to have the writers building the world for you and you putting it into pictures. So I would say more environment design rather than world design. World is a bit beyond the scope of concept art, in my opinion, or at least it's not going to be the sole job working on that. And also for a portfolio, you know, Egypt took 6,000 years to be built. So if you want to build a world as coherent as Egypt, you're going to spend a lot of time on your own. So we have some hard surface stuff. So the rules apply. I'm not the best at hard surface, but the same rules apply. And the first thing I noticed while reviewing your portfolio is that I'm a bit confused because, okay, the robot is complex. The shaders, it's procedural, whatever, it's fine. But I don't know what's the finality of that. Which kind of game would it be for? How does it work? How does it play? I see some breakdowns right there of the pistons and things like that, but I don't understand the goal behind those. Like, it tells me how it looks, it tells me how it moves, it doesn't give me the purpose of that thing. What's the function of that mech? How does it fight? How does it move? I would love to see more breakdowns on the pilot being introduced to it. That, to me, it's more like an industrial design type of work than pure concept art, because I would like to see it applied to gameplay. I would like to see it in a battle. I would like to see the weapons. I would like to see how it's being piloted. Is it to transport things? Is it to fight people? I don't really know. And there's a lot of information, but it's just that I don't really know what to do with it overall. And I'm a bit confused, especially because it's extremely detailed. And I would like to know what's the brief overall. Let's try to read the description. Mechanics Week is an advanced fusion tech combat system built by alien war during the invasion of Earth, which is alien fusion core with human engineering to inject engine into adaptive propulsion and high-intensity ray weapon. Its biomechanical structure links seamlessly with the wearer, boosting strength, mobility, and combat efficiency. It feels a bit like a ChatGPT brief, personally, in the way it's structured with adverbs and such. I might be wrong, but that's the feeling it gives me. Beyond its visual compass, this piece explores a fully procedural texture workflow. Okay, just like most of Art Surface work. Without UV mapping, the goal was to develop a non-destructive resolution independent. To me, that's a lot of fluff right there. I don't think it's useful. It's like show, don't tell. I would like to know the brief. More important than that. Where is the alien part? I don't know. Where is the human part? I don't really know. There's not a distinct enough separation between both of those civilization objects to notice the difference. It kind of blends seamlessly. That's the thing. The railgun, the VFX, I would like to know where it goes, what's the effect, what are those things I don't really know. So it leaves me with more questions than answers, personally. It's a great looking mech. I don't really know what to do with it. And right here, to me, this is like a technical demo. I like the animation and all of that. This is valuable. But I would like to see the animations in combat, you know? There we go. It feels like it's shooting the gun, etc. So, yeah, I don't really know what I'm seeing right there. And giving it purpose and thinking about the gameplay a bit more will be important, I think. I talked about that already. Let me open up my Obsidian. Give me a sec. I would like to think a bit more about my Obsidian and what I explained in the Dark Ages of concept art, but I also made that post recently. You have already seen that picture, I'm pretty sure. I shared it a lot on LinkedIn. I shared it in the Dark Ages of concept art video. But to me, it's just that we have a lot of rendering. We have some functionality, but storytelling, I don't know where it is, and the gameplay entertainment, I don't see it, and that's going to be the problem, in my opinion. No amount of good technique is going to be compensating for a bit of a confusing initial brief. So technical execution is good. In terms of technique, I would like to see a bit of paint over those things, like to add a bit of damage, because those robots feel like they are out of the factory. And you look at any Art Surface stuff. Let me pick the GOAT, Dima Goryanov. Even if it's on simple things like weapons and such, it's always slightly damaged and used. It's never brand new out of the factory. Even those things, they look old. And it's going to be super important to tell the story. You see, you have a bit of impact, scratches, etc. This is how you tell the story of the thing, and this is how you make it a bit more credible. If it's all brand new, it's going to be a bit difficult to believe in that. If you want to focus on pure iteration, keep it readable also. There's a lot of rendering right there. And an art director, even if you are designing hard surface, an art director will always ask themselves, okay, what about drawing fundamentals? Because there's a point where 3D is going to hit diminishing returns in terms of speed and efficiency and painting textures rather than making them procedurally in Keyshot or Octane or VRI or whatever software is used. Yeah, Keyshot. Painting them will always be faster. And with certain iteration, it will always be faster to make in 2D than 3D. And it's something that you will have to display in your portfolio. Those designs are great. I really like that one. Very Wayfinder oriented. Like it a lot. Would deserve to break the symmetry of those horns a bit more. But that's pretty much it. The weapon, it looks too new. It looks way too brand new. Again, Dima Koryanov. Let's have a look at the machine gun. This one, Xenophage. This is how you want to show weapons. Something brand new like this, it feels 3D. It feels out of the factory and there's no story around it. There's no damage. So it doesn't sell me on the use case of that thing. If it was burnt, if there were marks of projections and burning marks and things like this, now it's a bit more credible. And now I believe that thing is tangible and is having a story. I'm not telling you to throw a bucket of mud at everything, but I just want to see a bit of life and story on those objects rather than just showcasing them as they are in 3D right there. Those are some nice blockouts, but he proved he could do the rendering and the storytelling before showcasing those 3D blockouts. So that's the next step for you. It's really the purpose of things, in my opinion. Technique is okay, but the purpose and showcasing iteration, there's none. And it's going to be important to document, okay, how you think. Okay, what was your brief? What was the restrictions that you were dealing with? How did you try certain things that worked and didn't? And how did you refine your choice to eventually land on the final result? If they don't have that, they are not going to be able to figure out how you think. And it's going to be a massive problem for recruitment. They want to understand how you think, especially on something as problem-solving heavy as mechanical design. They want to understand the reasoning and the why you made things the way they are. That will be it. Let's move to the next person. All right. If you have not been picked, there might be 3 reasons. Portfolio was too small, not enough content to draw a good average, or else technique, or else just not oriented too much towards concept art. Some stuff were very illustrative and such. The same feedback apply, like pick a company, do the same, and deliver what they want on a silver plate. But I prefer to keep it focused around concept art. If you want some videos about how to fix those potential deal breakers, let me show that to you. You can check that old stream that we made. I think it's called the deal breakers. Portfolio deal breakers. Yeah, biggest deal breakers for concept art, the do's and don'ts of concept art. Those ones. It's almost 1 year old, but it's still totally relevant. So yeah, next person. Hello, my name is Twist Sanity, and this is my portfolio. I'm a concept artist with a soon-to-be degree in art, and I'm mostly self-taught. I have a background in illustration, and my portfolio work is mostly stylized, although I have capacity of semi-realism. The student project I aim to get are solid AA teams invested in fantasy, horror, and like genre. I believe that what may be missing in my current work is more props, explanatory sketches, design, and more character variants. I'm currently working with a dev team. The 4x4 doesn't contain most of my recent work. Okay, that's fine. So My first question, if you aim at AA, mostly around fantasy, horror, and Souls-like genre, I'm a bit confused because there is a very strong anime influence in, especially in the faces of the characters. Even a bit the proportions. There's a slight anime, especially in the face. So have some benchmark of those companies you are aiming at. The second thing, solid ability team interested in fantasy, horror, and Souls-like genre. Find real studios that are doing that. Do not make a guesswork. Do your best to find real companies that would be able to hire you to confirm that goal, because you have to make sure that what you are aiming at is actually A, existing, B, reachable with your current visa, experience, seniority, etc., and 3, just real, actually. I'm not saying it's not, but you want to confirm that. You really want to do some research about studios. And then, as I've been explaining a million times with different videos, the portfolio guide, etc., analyze what they do in terms of art direction, style, and process and problem they have to solve. Get good at that. Do exactly that and serve it on a silver plate. Because right there, looking at that portfolio, I would have never guessed I would have never guessed it would have been for those type of studios. To me, something like this, it's a non-realistic version of what you would see in, for example, Assassin's Creed. I really like Egypt, by the way. Also some slight influence like Hades and things like that, but the style is very different. So yeah, the first thing is going to be the stylistically coherent part of your portfolio with the companies you are aiming at. That will be the first thing to do. I like the drawing, but again, that project, I would have never guessed that you will aim at fantasy horror with a World War II inspired project, you know. So that's going to be the first thing. Thematically speaking, you have to recenter towards what you are aiming at. Let me grab a sip of tea. That's the first thing. Technique-wise, I will push those sketches a bit more. They are a bit with this kind of printed spandex effect that we have been discussing a lot in the past, where all the costume just sticks to the anatomy. So it's a bit more, especially on those ones. Let me open up Photoshop just to highlight that thing. Oops. Okay. You see you have the body of your character right there. And the whole clothes is stuck to it. There's no thickness right there. You see? You will need some extra thickness. Otherwise, it feels a bit animation oriented. And that's also why it feels a bit anime-ish. It's because in anime, they do this kind of sketch. I mean, you seem comfortable at sketching, but I would like you to polish a bit more certain parts. Most likely face, hands / gameplay. And a third element that is going to give a bit of storytelling. So for example, that thing and that thing. So head, arms, that part, for example. It's what I call in the preparatory module the 1-2-3 rule, which allows you to sell the main IDs immediately. So face, it's for the personality. Hands and weapons, it's for the gameplay. And a third element, it's for storytelling and a little of anecdote and identity, generally. And right there, the faces, they are a bit neutral because the sketches were done a bit fast. And I know you can probably do way more polish than that, just that you have to. Careful about the proportions and anatomy. I know it's stylized right there, but it's a bit slender. The legs are extremely long. So again, for AA fantasy horror stuff that tends to be a bit more grounded, I'm not fully sure about that. Right there, I'm not convinced about the face at all. I think there's some little anatomical issues right there. And again, with the arms, like those arms are super long and those forearms are super duper short. Especially compared to there where it was more reasonable. Generally, The elbow arrives at the belly button. And the forearms, the middle finger ends just before the knee, generally, for realistic proportions at least. I appreciate different proposals like that. This is great. I would like to see even more drastically different proportions overall. And once you have settled on the main design, now you can do costume design. And right now it's just some color swaps. I would advise you to do full costume design swap. Let me grab the work of Chess, for example. It's a tad more realistic. By costume swap, I mean something like this. But there's nothing in common. Yeah, there's something with the face. It's kind of weird. Yeah, careful about proportions. Do not hide the limbs. Folks, I really want you... it's not just you, Twist Sanity. It's everyone. Folks, when you are checking your portfolio or building it, you should always imagine this kind of avatar of an asshole art director. And it's not to scare you. It's just to quickly and easily get a reality check on what could be improved and what are the potential breaking points of your portfolio. Always ask yourself, okay, let's imagine the biggest asshole of an art director or reviewer. What is the meanest thing they could say or ask that still is true? And for example, the example of hiding the limbs right there, the question would be, A, did you put that to avoid doing the hard stuff? And if you get in the reflex of asking yourself these kind of questions, kind of similar to what I was saying with the previous person, like, okay, there's 3D, but do you know how to draw? Do you know how to paint? Or are you relying solely on 3D? Are you relying solely on sculpting, or can you do hard surface with like CAD and such? Always ask yourself what could be the question that will put your work in difficulty the most. You need to be able to face that, because if you are able to correct accordingly, you're avoiding the biggest breaking point in your portfolio. I know it's hard, but it's very important. Always put yourself in the shoulder and in the shoes of an asshole art director who is busy with 3 seconds and is trying to figure out the meanest thing they could say to just evacuate your work and next to you. And the more you think about this, the more solid your portfolio will be eventually. I don't want to do it nonstop because it would just sound like me being disrespectful to you folks, but I want it to be at the back of your mind so you can improve. Same right there. Suddenly, okay, we had some somewhat realistic character, and suddenly there's like an angel. And it's like, what the fuck? Try to introduce the angelic appearance in other characters. You know, if it's just wings on the back of their jacket or something like that. But you want to introduce that because it creates some sort of cultural shock. Suddenly it's like, is it the same product? Is it the same art direction? I'm not sure. It's not exactly the same. And if they have... nobody's going to read that generally. But right there, it's nice. But it feels like it's from a different project. I like the reference. I like the shape. Your shapes are beautiful. I like them. To me, it's more suited for animation than AA games generally. And you see, we start with grounded characters with an anime vibe. Then we move to angels, to bombs, okay? Then we move to angels. Then we get back to war, and then we have this kind of semi-realistic painting. That's a lot of shifts and changes across the same portfolio, and I'm a bit confused because I'm like, okay, I get what you like to do, but if I was a recruiter, I would not really know where you will fit. Character design for sure, but which specialty, which genre, I don't know. And then the thing is, as I was saying, turnarounds, okay, we have them. We can go so much further than just turnarounds, like props, VFX, abilities, gameplay, costume design, sketches. I was showcasing the work of only a bazillion time, but that turnaround that he made was crazy. Things like these, props, VFX, abilities, costume, weapons. There's so much more we can do than just a turnaround. So it's important to not hesitate to show that. I like that Egyptian project. Again, you know how to draw. You know how to draw, which is good. I like the poses right there. It's just that stylistically, you have to define a direction. To me, it feels like it sits a bit in between realistic and stylized, this kind of semi-realism limbo. Okay, another tangent on semi-realism, folks. Semi-realistic projects are extremely rare, and they are extremely complex to do. I know that stylized is like a spectrum, okay? But let me give you my definition of semi-realism, okay? Things like Dishonored, Arcane, Deathloop, things like this. To me, this is this kind of semi-realism. Things like even the splash art of Riot, to me, they lean in the stylized work. But semi-realistic, it's like the worst of both worlds. Deathloop isn't realism. Let me check. Yeah, it's a bit more realistic, my bad. I remember the concept art. Yeah, something like that is a bit more realistic. Let's forget about that, but Dishonored, Arcane, things like this. When you lean something like No Rest for the Wicked also. Something like this. It's kind of right in between. And it's difficult because when it's fully stylized, you can cheat in certain ways. When it's fully realistic, you can cheat in other ways. When it's right in the middle, it's very unforgiving. So be very careful when you make a portfolio that is quote-unquote semi-realistic or just in between. There are not that many studios that are doing this. So be careful about that. Be either fully stylized and commit to one type of the spectrum. Riot is different than Clash of Clans, which is different than Wayfinder, and it's different than Borderlands, for example, but it's still in the stylized realm. Pick your church and worship it, basically. Realistic, it's very binary. Realistic is realistic, you know. But in between, it's a bit difficult. And even the mentees, most of the time, unless there's an exception, I tend to pick a side, but do not lean in the middle because studios know it's hard to do, and there's not that many projects that are in between. The problem of projects in between is that you need a super duper strong art direction. Think about Dishonored or Arcane. Because if your art direction is remotely weak, it's going to feel cheap. It's going to feel like some cheap stuff, like not amateur, but student work. Trying realism for the first time. And you kind of don't want that. That's why it's very hard. So pick a side and kind of stick to it. To me, when I see those beautiful lines, you are good at stylized stuff. Those props are great. I like them. But again, I don't understand which kind of product is it. Is it for animation? Is it for games? I don't know. Those characters are great. That's something we could talk about in like the mentorship and such. It's great. It's just that we are lacking that direction. If you have not seen the portfolio guide or the video how to craft a portfolio that gets you hired with Sanity, go watch it. Go watch it because it's going to tell you how to analyze studios to match their art direction overall. Next, Emmy. First of all, massive improvement, Emmy. Let me sip a bit of tea. I'm super glad you have been improving. And I remember our call. It was a few months ago. I remember those pictures, and you have improved a lot. And I hope you enjoyed the preparatory module, by the way. So I've been improving a few last month, and this helped me a lot. Thank you. I'm doing contract work as a thumbnail designer and illustrator, but I'm definitely aiming towards being a character creator concept artist. Ideally, I would like to start working on some smaller studio just to learn and get some experience. But eventually, I'm aiming at games like The Witcher, CDPR, Rebel Wars, Fool's Fury, depending on where life takes me. My current goal is to improve in character design itself, working from a brief, and to do less improvising. I feel like I'll have a lot to learn and improve, so any guidance is helpful. Okay, so first of all, aim big. You got the preparatory module, you saw the videos like crafting a portfolio that gets you hired, etc. I said it a lot in those. It's better to aim very high and fall slightly below than to aim low and reach it. So you will always learn way more by studying directly CDPR, Larian, the big studios that are your dream project, even if they are not accessible on paper, visa or seniority-wise, at least for now. But they are the staple of the industry in that genre. Things like God of War, Horizon Zero Dawn, The Witcher. Studying the concept art from The Witcher 3, it's a bit old now, so pick God of War instead. Larian Studio, Fable, even the concept art of Dragon Age. They are very good. I know the game, the latest Dragon Age was a flop, but the concept art are wonderful. And you will always learn more by studying them than by studying AA or indie, just because it's quote unquote only what you can access for now, which is not true, by the way. I was showcasing a case study recently. I wanted to show you the work of Annika Mercier, concept artist at Ubisoft Bordeaux. She got hired as a junior, and look at the work on like Assassin's Creed, for example. Her portfolio is so buggy. I don't know why. Okay. There's a lot of skins, actually. A lot of skins, a lot of costume design. Almost exclusively that, and she leveled up a lot. You can see a massive improvement already. So it's not the first person that gets hired at big studios for skin design for characters. As a junior, you are unlikely to do the main character design. You will potentially do a bit of NPCs. What you are most likely to do is costumes. So have a lot of those for character concept art when you are starting. This is beautiful right here. Whoa. This is gorgeous. Love it. There are a lot of costume. There are some studies right there. Whatever. There are a lot of costumes, a lot of NPCs, a lot of portrait for NPCs right there. So study a bit our work, and that's something you're gonna notice like very quickly. So yeah, and it's not about dropping the ego or being pushed back from the fun stuff. It's just we all start somewhere, and our job as a junior is to do what the seniors don't have the time to do, but still needs to be done anyways. So that's something I would advise you to do. I remember that one. It was very, very nice already. What I told you was, in terms of technique, we are missing material separation and ambient occlusion. The lighting is very soft also, which can be problematic. This is the most recent stuff. This is nice. Okay, this is way better in terms of rendering. The face is way better than before. Before it was very soft. But it's very airbrushy. It's lacking volume and texture. Right there, it's starting to go somewhere. I like it. Very inspired by the work of Regine Wellander. Recognize the influence. Nice costume design. Very good. I see someone who studied the preparatory module right there. Very good different costume design. This is how you do it. You have like heavy armor, medium minus armor, and light armor right there. So very good. More drastically different proposals for costumes right there. This is good. What I would like to see is, as I was saying, different sketches with different proportions, different poses, different haircut, different everything. That's the part that is missing. But those costumes are great. Like it. they are a bit too brand new, similar to what I said to the first person. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, buddy. What's his name? Josin. It's a bit too brand new. You would need a bit of stains, a bit of dirt, a bit of rust. Kind of similar to what you did on that one. Same with the leather. You need some stains and some imperfections. Turn around. Okay. It's a bit complex, and when you squint your eyes, you hardly see those things. You see it's gray on gray. So I know it's probably inspired by the one done by Un. I would advise you to do a clown pass, probably. I'm always showcasing the Raven Lord by Bjorn Huri, but things like this is going to be a bit easier to read. You can just do it on front back view. Doesn't really matter. You would do it on the side or something like that. Or on another sheet. But right there, it's a bit hard to read. It's doable, but it's not the best choice of color. You put it right there in black and white, you see we lose all the contrast. We barely see those parts. And from the distance, it's hard to read. That's the only thing. Turnaround is nice. The thing with the hair is curious. I would like to see some extra callouts about it because it's a bit unconventional. It's a bit particular, and to me, that could potentially be a weakness of the character because if you grab the hair, it's going to restrict him. I like the concept. A bit like Samson in the Bible. I like it. It's just that I'm gonna be nerdy for a second. If it was in real life, it would be risky, and he would probably have to cut his hair eventually. So I would like some extra callouts about the magic around that to prevent that from being a weakness. I love those weapons, right there. They are beautiful, and the rendering is nice. Those shapes right there are very, very nice also. Interesting. The level of detail is a bit too much right there. So you will have to blend it a bit more, I think. And for this, make it look like a fake screenshot. So pick a screenshot from God of War and really mimic the UI, the framing, and all of that. I think it's still a bit too cinematic heavy right there. But overall, that's very good. Very, very good. I like it a lot. Those beasts are nice. Like, I really love the rendering you have on that one. The one on the top left is beautiful. I really like where it's going, Amy. That's a lot of progress. I like it a lot. I remember those. Very good. Very good. Very mentorship ready. I like those sketches. It's still a bit soft. The face are still a bit round, but it's better now. So you are really heading towards a good direction, Amy. I'm very happy of you. Massive thumbs up. Next person, Arnav Sharma. Let me read the description. You're welcome, Amy. Arnav. Okay, I got it. Coyote 4360. My name is Arnav, an engineering student graduating in May 2026. I'm to become an environment concept artist. I've been following the FZD curriculum for the last 1 year and a half. We can notice that. FZD students, they are so easily recognizable. And I have not opened the work yet, but we have been working with several former FZD students, and the issues are always the same. It's always the same. I'm gonna take a gamble before having opened that portfolio. I think it's gonna miss iteration and drastically different proposals. it's going to be a bit too grounded based on reality. I know that Feng is extremely demanding on reference respect, which I'm okay with. But at some point, having one chapter that proves you can redesign complex things not out of thin air, but by mixing references and going beyond the references is going to be important. And that's what we have been noticing is missing in most student portfolio. And I'm going to show you the work of Evan, who was also from FZD. We did one chapter together, and he got a gig at West Studio, and he's doing interviews with great other studios at the moment. And his career is good now. So, okay, let me finish reading the thing. I'm currently focusing on studios like Ubisoft, Reboot Games, and some other outsourcing studios in India as they are more immediately within my reach. Okay, you are in India. So, yeah, either local studios or else outsourcing studios hiring freelancers. So, things like Mood, Character, Room 8, Volta, Terraform. Terraform is very different from what you do, so I would not advise it. Chromatic, potentially, things like that. Okay. I recognize my current portfolio as irrelevant art and lacks game-centric design approach. That's the last thing, the gameplay. I've been focusing more on nailing down the process. I'm not developing new product focused on solving this, concentrating on gameplay-oriented short-level design principle and showing a more robust iterative process. Very good, very good. So let's see the thing, but it's going to be that. Very good. When did you do that? Can we have the classic ArtStation? Nope. Little disclaimer, folks. I absolutely hate custom ArtStation UI because, first of all, the escape key does not work. And also, when you are looking for information like when has it been posted, it's not there. So if you can use the default ArtStation, you are fine. Don't worry. It's totally fine. But whatever. It's good. That fake screenshots right there feels a bit like a placeholder. And what I see right there is that it's a lot of existing things put together. But I don't know where the design part, like the building something that could not be referenced from a photo is. The knight looks like something I could reference for a photo, same with the weapons and with those objects. I would like to see something slightly out of the ordinary. The only thing I see right there is that little bull, Taurus type of statue, but the rest is very grounded. So everything is very grounded. You explained the mechanical part. This is fine. But this needs to be pushed to the next degree in terms of design. And I know you can do it because you know to draw very well. Same right there with this one. This is beautiful right there. This is a bit blocky. Pick an existing architecture style. Let's say Art Deco, Art Nouveau. Mix it with this. You will have something immediately crazy in terms of design. Those are great. Those color sheets are great, but it's really the design part. And it still feels a bit blocky, you know. Throne Room. This looks a bit older. This is not on par technique-wise with the rest. So I'm assuming this is a bit older. No need for those pictures, I think. Exit design. This is quite okay. Not sure about the proportion in the face, but the mech suit and the drawing style is great. I'm assuming this has been done fast. Right there. Again, this is very blocky. This is like this is an issue we have been noticing with a lot of FZD graduates, and I'm not saying that to this FZD because FZD, they are doing an insane amount of work getting people from almost zero. It feels like some photos that have been redrawn in the right angle And we need to go beyond that. Oh, hello, Arnav. I see you in the chat. You have all the technique you need to do it properly. It's just about putting time to do that design. And it's been the same with pretty much every single FZD graduate we got. Let me grab like Evan. It was exactly the same. With some old work being super academic, working well. I mean, FZD style, you know. Where is it? Super good callouts with a lot of storytelling and the human aspect in it. This is great. I like it. That's fine. Even those things feeling like Hunt. But there's not that much design heavy stuff right there. It's some existing things that have been put together in a very convincing way. Don't get me wrong. Like that one is fantastic. I like it. But where's the gameplay? Where's the fun? Again, imagine yourself with the asshole art director, the very cynical person. Like, why should I care? Where is the fun? Sell me the fun. Why would I want? Why should I be excited for a game like this? And right there, it's missing stuff. And right here, okay, Greek inspired, but we have never seen a Greek forge. This is design heavy right there. This is the gameplay. It feels a bit like a mix between Rise Son of Rome and Monster Hunter, basically. We have the functionality similar to what you had right there. But on top of that, we have a layer of design and appearance. It's not Googleable. It goes out of the ordinary with those pillars, etc. This is the kind of stuff I would advise you to do. You have the function, now you need to wrap it in fancy stuff overall. You need to show the iterations also. We don't see them. Most of the students, they are showcasing the final results and not the early sketches, unfortunately. So show them. It's very important. Document your process, like what you started with, what kind of problems were you there trying to solve, etc. This way they know what worked, what didn't, etc. Does that make sense, Arnav? The rest is great. I mean, technique-wise, it's good. I mean, FZD level of quality, you know, as always. Same with the companies you are aiming at. Pick a subject that that matches that product. You know, you mentioned things like Ubisoft. Pick Assassin's Creed. That's fine. And commit to something that is historical, verticality, gameplay, parkour, assassination, stealth, a bit of esoteric powers. Like, okay, pick Dishonored in Egypt. Boom. Okay, let's go. We have something. Maybe not Egypt because we got Assassin's Creed, but pick Dishonored during the French Revolution. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Think about the gameplay. Think about the opportunities for stealth or for whatever type of gameplay. Right there, I don't really see the gameplay, unfortunately. So yeah, let me know once you have done that new stuff, because this is potent. This is potent, but needs to be elevated to the next level. There we go. Next person, Greg Pilava. My name is Greg. I'm working full-time in a small animation studio as a creative journalist a day, and by that I'm working towards becoming an environment concept artist for games. House games like Outer World, Disco Elysium, Kingdom Hearts, Riddle for Fantasy, Assassin's Creed, Witcher, Souls game. I would like to work for a studio like Atom Hawk, Ubisoft, Square, Enix. Okay. I think my work is a bit too stylized at the moment for the companies that I'm aiming at. I'm unsure whether I should focus on expanding my portfolio with more environment in my current style, or if I should switch style and dabble a bit more into 3D to produce more realistic looking stuff. Okay, let's talk. So, this is indeed a bit stylized and a bit blocky. And it feels a bit flat because of this kind of paper texture we have everywhere. So the goal will be to break this kind of blockiness. It's still a bit too polygonal. It feels a bit like something you will see for animation with those shapes, etc. You want something way more organic looking for games, a bit more irregular. Whether you have a lot of sharp edges, you are missing bevels and functionality, like that bar right there. For animation, sure. For games, the camera, if we want to move the camera, can get close to it. It has to follow reality overall. So, very similar to what I said to the other people. Pick the companies you are aiming at. Look at what they are doing. Do something like this. Let me try to pick like, the Walk of Heaven for something like Assassin's Creed would be very close. I think it's Pierre Carew who was working on Assassin. There we go. Perfect. This is the portfolio that got him hired, by the way. So it can give you a little ID. But it's interesting to see, okay, we have some keyframes. I'm not sure we will see that many callouts, etc. A bit right there. You see, it's a lot about gameplay overall. To jump on things, to parkour on top of things. The camp right there. Those camp design are great. Because this is we are dabbling a bit into level design right there. The rest, it's a lot of keyframes and such right now. Remember, the work you see even on our session from product, it's always a curated selection of what they have. This is okay. So, slightly more realistic. It doesn't have to be covered in photorealism everywhere and photo texture everywhere. You could pick things like, let's pick Gael. You could have things like this. That's okay. Provided you have a few realistic rendered stuff like that. Okay? So you can mix drowned stuff with fully rendered stuff. You see right there on that props, it's way more detailed. We broke the blocky aspect. There's a lot of bevels, ornaments, everything. And right there, it's a bit simple because you do not break the shapes too much. You see, it's a lot of cubes everywhere. It's very dense visually. And more importantly, everything is kind of parallel. You see, everything is following that direction. You don't have like stuff in diagonal. You don't have some mess. Or at least not that much. There's that table, but it's pretty much the only one and a few carpets. Try to have some more organic looking stuff. Get back at this. You have a lot of things that are a bit chaotic. That easel, planks, boxes, all those things. It feels way more alive overall. Otherwise, you're gonna give this kind of slightly mobile game look or animation look. For animation, it's great. Also, the shape, you see. I don't understand which architecture it belongs to, but it feels a bit Mayan inspired. This one I don't know. So Yeah, I'm a bit confused, and also I don't really know what's going on here. I see a lot of I see a lot of pottery everywhere. I don't know. Those things seems to be clean. They do not look like they have been made here. So I don't know why there is cooking pots everywhere. Say it's a school of pottery. Where are the tools to sculpt them? The rotating stuff. With all the mechanism to get them to rotate, etc. The blocks of clay, the water, the broken ones, the oven to get those to be hardened. The tools, the carving tools. And you see in terms of rhythm, it's kind of equidistant. It feels like you made one pot, you kind of duplicated it with those balls. It's a bit too regular, and you need chaos. You need this kind of organic look in your stuff. You need to to have a bit of randomization, a bit of mess overall. And look at this, you see it's very organic, it's very randomized. It still makes sense. It's not put randomly into place, but even if you look at your desk, unless you are psycho rigid on tidiness, it's always going to look a bit random. That's a bit something I like to draw. I call it like the rule of mess. It's not patented. Let's imagine this is your desk, okay? This is you seen from the top with your arms like this. You will always have a round area right there that is somewhat clean. And everything will be pushed radially in those direction. And the big object, they will kind of stop the smaller ones. See what I mean? So it's the same when you are in a room. You'll have some sort of main alley right there. You can circulate kind of fully. And everything will be kind of built around. I hope it makes sense. I want to understand how that thing rotates. I don't know how that thing rotates. Like pottery. How does it work? Yeah, it feels a bit more complex than what we have currently. Yeah, I was thinking more about things like that. Yep. I like the sketches. I like how you draw. It's really beautiful. But if you want to transition to games, you will have to think also about the gameplay. Like, how do you play? What do you have to do in that place? Maybe it's a place you have to infiltrate. So you have opportunities to climb by the window, etc. It's going to be important. Showcase different topologies of the rooms also is going to be important, not just exteriors. And then make dedicated callouts on the main setting points like the oven, turntable, those things. You need some point of interest in that thing. It's going to be important. This one feels very animation. It's good as a junior or when you are starting to have some places of life like this. Now try to develop one place fully for the sake of gameplay. Which type of game it is? What are the abilities of the character? What do you have to do? Try to ask yourself those questions. And also try to play a bit more with verticality because right there it's very boxy. I'm pretty sure you have seen the videos 108 and 109 from Fang regarding the formula on how to make environments. Like the XYZ axis, human factor, sound, etc. Try to follow it religiously. Because right here you see it's 4 different boxes. It would be nice to have different shapes. It would be nice also to showcase some mechanisms, even with those turntables. So explaining. And if you want to design something like this, it can remain kind of candid like that, but we need an interesting part. Let's say it's a pottery skull, but let's say hidden underneath is a secret passage towards like a clandestine bar or a fight club or something like this. Design the secret passage. What you have to activate, where does it move, or does it unwrap the stairs, etc. That's going to be interesting to show, in my opinion. That's the kind of stuff you want to think about, I would say. And then, yes, stylistically speaking, right there, it's clashing a bit. It's still on the stylized side. Nothing against it, but if you want to add more realistic stuff, you will need slightly more realistic things. But at least in terms of execution, it's good. So I don't have much more to say. It's just content more than technique. So you have done the hardest. So pretty good overall. Let's move to the next person. Philip and Kendrick. Those are the last 2 people. So, Philippe, I studied game entertainment design. I live in Brazil and don't have companies around here, so I am aiming for outsourcing studios like Terraform, Atomhawk, Pixoid, Liquid Development that are more open to remote artists. Yes. So, similar to what I said, it's missing exploration and prop design. Yes. Right there, we have a lot of the keyframe-ish stuff, which is necessary. You need to have a few of those. It seems to be very Call of Duty oriented. Nothing against it, but it's not the most design heavy stuff. Like right here. Okay, that building is cool. Don't get me wrong, this one is pretty cool. That shot is nice. But right here, in terms of design, it's cool that you made callouts for the pods because it's indeed the most interesting part. But the rest feels a bit referenceable, let's say, from Google. So I don't really know where's the design, where's the story, etc., what's happening. So I will focus a lot more on propsies like this and going for hard stuff. Like right, it reminds me a bit of Doom. That sketch is just painting over the 3D render, so I will not try to fool them. They know it's the 3D base, right? It's like pinpoint the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Those sketches are cool though. I hope they have been done before the 3D base. If that's the case, that's kind of nice. but you are still orbiting around the same ID a lot. Fuck. My bad. Yeah, glad it helped, Greg. I'm trying to check the... Yes, can I sketch around the same shot? I'm assuming there was a 3D base underneath. It's just that the camera angle has been moved. Try to present them with drastically different proposals, not the same stuff covered in different things. And rather the variations, they are not very drastic. It's like the level design is already there. And it's the same things, which is fine. For concept art, you want as many different proposals as possible. They know that if you can do 3 different things that have nothing in common, they can paint over a gray box. But if you do the opposite, they don't know. Question they're gonna ask, asshole art director is going to ask, okay, how much do you know to draw? Because right there they can sense when there was the 3D and right there the flames, they are a bit hesitant. So careful about that. Really careful about that. Even that character, is it something you made? Is it something you downloaded? We don't really know. And careful about using stuff even as placeholder that are not your property. But yeah, there's a lot of photo bashing. That's fine. But what I would advise you to do, even right there, you see this is God of War fan art. So you have the Kratos model. You have some stuff covered in snowish white cream right there. Same right there with an abstract shape. What I see is that it's not bad, but you are not going for the hard stuff, in my opinion. What do I mean by going for the hard stuff? Architecture style, interior design that is, again, architecture heavy. Right there, it's very tech heavy, it's very modern, it's repetitive. If you design, let's say, an Art Deco bank, okay. Something like this. For gameplay, of course, not a copy paste of something like that. Something in that style with gameplay. Now we are talking about hard stuff, you know. Say you design a stealth game for those things. Oh, this is AI. Shit. Let's pick this. Let's pick this. That's fine. You build an entire design and level around this. That is going to be interesting, you know. Same with something like that. Just an example. Look at a control, for example. Gameplay. Yeah, not the best example. I speak Prey. Prey 2017. Now we are talking. Very inspired by Art Deco, etc. Things like this. This is cool. Same with Dishonored, same with other stuff. It's really about going for the hard stuff. Right there, stuff covered in snow, it's kind of hiding the design. Stuff covered in grass, it's hiding the design also. And I feel like I have seen those pictures a lot, like Florent Lebrun type of temple, etc. I feel like I've seen those. God of War inspired stuff. Add a twist. Add some, can I say? Yeah, adding a twist role and asking yourself, okay, how would I make someone care about that place? What is it specific about that place? I don't really know what's specific about that place. You look at certain towns from God of War. That one from a character. Now this is interesting. You hear the picture with all those things. You have water everywhere. You have smoke. You have salt. Understand? It's a bit like the city of Dale, Lake Town. Sorry, in the Hobbit. It's built around the water. Everything it revolves around those aqueducts right there. Even the roofs right there, they are meant for if water falls on it, it's gonna flow on the side while carrying salt. That's interesting right there. Even right here for those old concept art. This one with a big block of salt. It's really about asking yourself, what's the selling point? What is the thing that is out of the ordinary that is going to make my concept stand out? Whether it's all around salt and salt marsh. This one is with that beautiful gorgeous tree. The shapes are incredible. Love that concept. It's so beautiful. Right there, I don't really know. You see, you have that dragon head. Maybe they are dragon slayers. You have bones of dragons everywhere. The houses are made of bones and rib cages of dragon. Now this is metal. This is super cool. So we have to think about the twist right there. It's a bit too grounded. It's very academic. I like the way you present stuff. I like the way you do callouts and things like that. It's okay. It will need more work because right now it's way too blocky. It feels a bit like, I made a callout just to tick the box of the callout. Add value, you know. Right now it's a bit too sketchy. Same right now, it feels like you made those things afterwards. Not sure if that's the case. But I don't see the reflection going from here and converging there. I don't know which one it's the result of. It feels like that one, but I'm not even sure. So it feels like those things have been made afterwards. And you really want to present your portfolio like a making of, okay, this is the brief I had, this is what I tried, this is what worked, what didn't, this is how I refined the choice, and this is how I landed on the final result. Once I have the final result, this is how the 3D team would be able to make it without a headache. That building is cool. I like it. It's about the internal dialogue. It's about the internal dialogue, and right there, another director will notice it's the same building with different shots. So, is it different proposals? Or is it the same scene with just different camera angles? It works, don't get me wrong. Like for cinematic stuff, it works. That shot is great. But for pure concept, pure design proposals, you're imposing the same ID 4 times. So careful about that. We talked about that one, imposing the same design over and over. I would avoid fan art, honestly. I like those. I really like those. This is nice. The statue. A bit too 3D heavy, a bit too wobbly, I think. I will make it a bit more 2D heavy. To me, we are a bit at the crossroad between keyframe heavy stuff and starting to open more towards pure iteration and concept. I like those. Those are alien shapes, so it's okay to have one page of those, but not only this. That thing, I would like to understand how it works. Again, if we pick a cynical art director, it would be, okay, you use the VR or ZBrush and you make some organic shapes, put a light, press render. What's the story around that place? What's the purpose of that place? What's the goal? We need to go beyond how it looks, and it's more how it is, or it feels this. You have a lot of rendering right there. You have a bit of storytelling, quote unquote. But functionality and especially gameplay, I don't see it much yet. It's just about inverting the sense of priority. Those things. Okay, have a platforming things. That's a perfect opportunity for platforming. This is great right there. Okay, now we are talking with those little sketches. Let's explore those. Rendering is gonna come after. That's fine. Could be line work. Certain concept from God of War, they are in black and white. Concept art environment. Sketch. Things like that. It's more than enough. We don't need more than that. So this is Wartail, this is not God of War, but something like this. Oh my fucking god, this is so cool. So freaking cool. You see how everything is organic right there? Random, but yet you can navigate around things. Without bumping into everything. Again, there's a purpose. Scrolls, esoteric stuff, books, scrolls, skulls. It's like a forbidden library right there. We get the theme immediately. So yeah, going for the hard stuff and thinking about how does it play, how is it fun, before how does it look. It's going to be crucial. You solve that, then you have the technique to do it. But go for hard stuff, not symmetrical stuff, not ginormous buildings covered in grass. Go for grounded stuff. You mix two grounded stuff together, you get different things. How did you come to those design? I want to see the iterative process. Because this feel it has been made afterwards again. When you design guns, show them in the angle is gonna be seen in game. Because you do not design a gun the same way for a third-person game, where most likely you are going to see the exterior of the gun, versus the first-person game, where you're going to see the weapon being on the right of your screen, and all the important parts with the reload and such needs to be on the left. You need to define that. It's very important. Test the weapons in 3D in POV view. It's very important. Last, Kendrick Lee. Vegan pursuing art seriously about 6 years ago with no prior experience. After graduating 3 years ago, I went through a long burnout period following concentrating coding, but I've since regained momentum and I'm now focused on becoming a sci-fi concept artist in the games industry, but happy to branch out into other genres. The studio projects aiming at Raycon, CDPR, Owlcat, Critical Hit Games, Studio Extraordinaires, Eidos Montreal, Striking Distance. So most likely realistic ones, I guess. Aim at big ones. Okay? With your work, I would say Respawn Entertainment, DICE, Massive, CDPR, Call of Duty, things like this. You can always go lower, but if you aim lower and you reach it, you can hardly go higher and you're going to trap yourself in your career. So I'm not telling you to refuse anything besides those big studios, but study those big studios like your gold standard. Do as best as you can to get close to that. And if you fall lower, it's going to be better than if you lowered your standard and aimed at the low-hanging fruit. What do you think is missing in your work? Right now, I'm refining my workflow to better match professional pipeline and improve clarity in my design storytelling. Replace storytelling is fine, but add a gameplay. Very important. Game keyframe splash art. In-game keyframe splash art. That's a bunch of words together. Fake screenshots. It should be easier. Splash art, it's promotional art. Keyframes, it's for cinematic or early development. It's not bad, but fake screenshot is going to cover both the in-game and also the keyframe part. Splash art, it's marketing art. You probably don't need that for a portfolio. One or two extra lines, portfolio developer over roughly a year. Okay. Okay, let's see. So, I like callouts. I like those, but they are very hard to read because of the values. So value is very low contrast. Everything is gray on gray on gray, so it's a bit hard to read all of that. It's possible, but at first glance, it's a bit hard. So I would try to improve a bit the readability. And also, you are using soft brushes around certain glows, shadows, etc. Do not ever use soft brushes in callouts. Because as soon as you have soft brushes, the eye is immediately attracted to it and all the rest doesn't exist anymore. So careful about that. It's still a bit blocky. It's missing a bit of detail and a bit of clarity to be fully used. But it's good to place the asset, but you will need colors for individual assets. In terms of architectural style, I see some Art Deco thing. And I see some very blocky stuff. It somewhat works, but again, the cynical art director will say, okay, it's just an Art Deco texture that has been copy-pasted on a wall. Can you do more? Can you do statues that are Art Deco? Can you do different stuff that is more reminiscent of Art Deco? Color tests. Try different mood of lighting, like different moments of the day, something like this. It will be a bit more useful, I think. I'm surprised that you went for a low contrast one when you had super hard contrast one like C. C was very readable, for example. Different thumbnails, I like them. Use 3D for ellipses. Use 3D, it's going to help you a lot. But it's a bit blobby. It kind of works for those callouts. I would like them to be more detailed. And I would like you to detail the important selling points like computers, that table, couch, bedroom. What are the most complex and most important parts? To me, it's the computer right there. The plant, all the complex stuff, do the callouts about that. Do not go for the easy stuff like those boxes. It's okay. Someone needs to do them, but in the portfolio, you are there to over-deliver. So showcase all the stuff. Detail those a bit more. It's going to be the idea for the fake screenshot. The main was the imagine the time for clarity. Yes, sure. It's just that it needs to be clear for an art director because you won't be there to explain your stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. There's actually a lot of valuable stuff in it. You just need to refine certain things. But I will refine the hinges. I will increase the resolution drastically and make them more detailed. To me, it feels like there's the big and the medium, but not the small. Big, what it is. Okay, it's a fridge. Medium, how does it work? Okay, can't I get it? Small, what is it specific about it? I don't get it. Don't really get it. But the shape is cool. Whether it's nice, the callouts on the different things is okay. I would like them to be more detailed. They are a bit small. So it would be nice to work in higher resolution and to make separate explaining of those. But this is very exhaustive. I like it a lot. Same right here. That individual stuff, it would be nice to show where do they belong in the room, you know. That thing, for example, that holster that is secret, where is it in the room? I don't really know at first glance, probably here, but I'm not sure. This shot is nice. The rendering you did right there is better because there's no soft brushes. And if you render everything like this, it's gonna be way better. That interior for the lounge is very good. I like it. There's a lot of content indeed. Careful return of soft brush right there for the glow. Use flat colors instead. Was right 2 pages was already too much? No, that's fine. It's just that I would like to see zooms on those pictures. There's too much information per page. You want to ask yourself, what is the most important thing? Like, that part is so important, it needs to be in full resolution to see everything. Right there, we have a problem of contrast. You see? It's hard to read in black and white, so it's going to be hard to read in colors. This is nice. I mean, I really like it. It's just that it's hard to read. There's too much. I would separate that project in several parts and post several different parts on ArtStation where you can see the full size pictures for those things. Because you spent a lot of time on those. It's great. First of all, they deserve to be polished more because it's still sketchy. And then, because you spend a lot of time on it, they deserve to be shown in their full glory and not reduced to the corner of one page. But this is nice. I really like it. Very mentorship ready. Very close to junior work. For characters, it's the same. It's about polishing stuff a bit more. It's still a bit suggestive, more than being a statement. I talked about the drastically different iterations with different poses, etc. Rather, it's just some different costume design. Same with the weapons. It's too blurry. It's too sketchy. A 3D artist cannot work out of that. It's too sketchy. Same right there. Same right there. It's yep, it's a matter of cleaning stuff and spending a bit more time on certain things. I know you said you were working on the site, so I know it's taking time to do those things. But when I see... I'm starting to choke. My nose is completely congested. When I see this tells me you know how to draw. And you know how to clean out stuff. So now it's about bringing the rest to that level. But there's not that much we can do with very quick sketches like that. So yeah, very good. I see a lot of potential. But we need a bit of cleaning on certain things. Not everything. If you don't have the time to clean it, you can curate stuff. You don't have to show absolutely every single doodle you made. For example, that page, I don't see that much value. I will teach it. This is pretty good. I like it. Biggest concern, the gameplay. There's not that much gameplay in those things, unfortunately. Design-wise, it's okay. The subject being a bit brutalistic is not simple, but it's not where you will have the most design-heavy stuff. So it will be nice to show another style of architecture or something like that, the next project. A bit less industrial, a bit more colorful and vibrant overall. You can keep those. to me, something like this is for something like Apex Legends. But when I see like CDPR, I'm assuming it's Cyberpunk, it's kind of compatible too. But do not become monochromatic, just gray and industrial stuff. Try to have contrast, try to have some colorful stuff. You never know. Even in Cyberpunk, you have different type of environment. So it's very important to showcase those different things. That will be it. Whew. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not at the best amount of energy. A bit sick. I hope it was still useful to learn some stuff. Oop. Was pretty nice in any case. Very good submission, folks. We might do more in the future again. There's plenty of other lives coming. You're welcome, Kendrick. It's very good. It's very good. There's a lot of potential in it. So yeah, there's a lot of content coming pretty soon, especially about what makes money in the industry and how to think a bit more on a business perspective rather than just art to better understand what to put in your portfolio. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. You know the drill. Drop the like, comment, share. You want to join the mentorship, there's the link. The next class is on November 17th. It's the last one of the year before probably a 6 to 8 weeks hiatus, because I will be traveling a lot at the beginning of the year. And I will be working also on other aspects of the artness that require my time. So that's pretty much it. Talk to you soon, folks. Goodbye. And thanks you for joining